Welcome to the Ben Buzz. I'm Benny King, and we have an emergency NBA update. The NBA Board of Governors met these past couple days, and they approved expansion to cities exclusively in Seattle and Vegas. All of a sudden, there could be two new teams joining in 2028 to 2029. How great is this for the league, and how much do you think this is going to affect it as we go down these couple seasons, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. It's a good thing for the league to add a couple more teams to match the
Mhm.
NFL's 32 and like the
Right.
NHL. They just expanded with, I think it was the Seattle Kraken. So there's been a couple
Mhm.
new Seattle for leagues and
Right.
WNBA. They've also expanded a bunch too, but that makes sense for them as well. But I like it a lot, and I think it's going to help. I think when people say like the talent is not enough
Mhm.
to support a couple more teams, I mean, I don't. I think the talent is has just gotten better and better, and they can support these two teams. Like you just saw Mac McClung, he had like 50
Mhm.
points in a game. He's the all-time scorer for the G League. I don't. I mean, he's been in a couple NBA games and it hasn't translated, but there's a ton of talent in the G League, and I think there'd be well enough talent to support. I mean, you see like Lonzo Ball, he's not even in the league anymore, really, and he could probably still be on like a bench player or something like that, you know. So
Right.
yeah, no, I'm okay with it. Yeah,
Right. And that's so interesting is that you hear people talk about the talent pool, but there's only about like 15 players on these NBA rosters. It's so much more difficult to add like an NFL team when you think about a 52-man roster. Like I think there's 15 more players in this country and abroad that could fill those roles. And that's what's so interesting is
yeah,
that since the expansion when they went to Canada, to Toronto and Vancouver of course ended up moving to Memphis, but since that expansion, the league has become so much more international. I think it's just a testament to how talented the whole world is, and that's why I think that the talent gap, that's not really a question. It was a no brainer for them to bring back Seattle. It's been a while since the Thunder
yeah.
decame from them, but it was a no brainer because there's already an existing fan base, there's already existing merch. Like, it was an absolute no brainer. Why do you think they chose Vegas, and how do you think that that whole situation is going to go there? Do you think that they're going to really attach to the team, or how do you think Vegas is going to funnel out there?
I am not the biggest fan of Vegas as a market. I would have liked to see again, like you said, Vancouver or like a lot of people were saying Nashville. Maybe I don't think Tennessee deserves two teams because that's a lot of people were saying like maybe just relocate Memphis or the Pelicans to Seattle
Right.
and just like we don't need to add a couple more teams, but those fan bases still are pretty strong, even though they're kind of the weaker ones. But I would also say like St. Louis, like
Right.
because the Atlanta Hawks, they used to be there, and like with St. Louis, like all they have is what the Blues and hockey. Everyone else has kind of left that city. Even the Chiefs are kind of leaving there to
Right.
go
Do
to
they not still
Kansas.
have? Do they not still have the Cardinals in the MLB?
Oh, you're right, the Cardinals as well. Yeah, but I was thinking the Rams and then
Right.
the Hawks in the NBA. But that's always been like a better city to me than Vegas, even though like Vegas, I guess with sports betting, I guess it's huge. And I don't know how big the Raiders are, but I don't think they're that big. I mean, I guess the Golden Knights in hockey, and then the Las Vegas Aces. Those that's big. I feel
Right.
like
And the
I
NBA
feel
Summer
like
League.
yeah. Well, with the Aces, I don't think an NBA team is going to surpass the Aces. It's going to take a while. I don't know
Right.
because they've already won so much. So it's tough, but I get it from a money standpoint. That's going to make you a ton of money, and
Right. And Vegas can
it's
afford it.
yeah,
We saw what they just
right.
did building Allegiant Stadium for the Raiders, so they're more than capable to build in an NBA stadium, which
Yeah,
is
I
yeah.
guess like why do you think Vegas is all of a sudden? Because like even like a decade ago, no team was in Vegas at all. They maybe the Golden Knights was it, but not the Raiders, not any team. So I guess I'm not sure why it's all of a sudden such a growing city. I guess for sports, but I guess that's sports betting probably, and just
Right.
the ability to make money there. But again, yeah, the Supersonics, they've needed to come back for a long time. And
Hmm.
I'm really glad. And of course, like the Thunder are going to give them back their history. That was never a question. But when a team relocates, what are they going to do with that history? They can't do anything about it. So obviously, they're going to reclaim that. But because they did win a championship in like '79 or something. But yeah, it's very exciting. I think 2028 is when this is all going to take effect,
Right.
and I think that's going to be a crazy day, the expansion draft, because you can only have 7 protected players in your team, and the rest are kind of up for grab for those 2 franchises. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
Right. And it's really going to be tough for Vegas to sort of build something up there as, the Raiders, at least that was a team that moved not too far away from Oakland. They already had an existing fan base, whereas starting a franchise in Vegas is going to be so difficult. And it's kind of on the other side with Seattle, where it's like Seattle already has that fan base and they already have that support. Like they've asked players, they're like, would you want the Sonics to come back? They're like, of course. And then you see when they come back and you see a bunch of like legends that were Sonics back in the day on like TV shows, just like, man, this is so great for the community. Where it's just like you see that, and then you even see like Gary Payton II saying like, yeah, I would request the trade that when they come back, and you see Kevin Durant saying like, yeah, I would love to play for the Sonics if it became available. Well, he becomes a free agent right before the Sonics start their first season, so it's just like the Sonics have that sort of pre-existing history, and I think it's going to be easier for them to get acclimated into the league, even though it's a new organization. But Vegas, I don't even know what they do there because we still don't even know what they're going to be called, Jack.
Yeah, I don't even know what they could come up with. That. Well, we don't even know if the Sonics are going to come back. I mean, I think it'd be an outrage if they called them anything else but the
Yeah,
Supersonics.
it'd be ridiculous.
But I
Mm-hmm.
guess that would be an option to name them something else. I wouldn't though, just because it's such a cool name and they got a lot
Right,
of history there. But
right.
yeah, I
And
don't
it's
know what
not a
you could
thing.
call
Yeah,
Vegas.
and they
Yeah,
couldn't have like when they moved, like when they were the Vancouver Grizzlies, like and they moved, and then there's like,
right,
oh well, that's the Memphis Grizzlies. It's like they could never have done that. They're like, yeah, we're the Oklahoma City Supersonics. Like, no, that is Seattle.
right. Well, they kind of. I mean, it is Seattle. You're right, but they've done that before. Like with the Minneapolis Lakers, there's no lakes in LA, but there's lakes all over Minnesota.
That's a good point.
So and also New Orleans Jazz. There's no jazz in Utah. Never, never has been.
There
Never
might be a
will.
little, there might be a little bit.
But New Orleans, that's where jazz
I'm
is very, very huge there. So it kind of didn't make sense for them to be in Utah either.
I mean,
So
there's no
I guess
Magic in
they,
Orlando either, so
yeah. Well, that's the same thing. There's no Wizards in Washington. No,
or
those are
Raptors.
those are
Right.
those are silly
Yeah,
names. But when
right.
you need something that the city like bleeds, that's a big thing. So yeah, I don't know what you could name. I guess well, Aces makes way more
Right,
sense.
right. It feels like the best name on the table is already being used, but I've seen
Yeah,
some people say like, Las Vegas Jokers or like Las Vegas Blackjacks. They're just going to be something with gambling. I guess it's an easy way to name the team, but I saw something about how, how it was the San Francisco Warriors, but now they're just Golden State. Like they don't call themselves San Francisco, even though that's where they are. Could they just call
right.
themselves like the Sin City something? Like maybe that would be cool.
That could be cool. Like, well, they've
Sounds a
kind
lot
of done
better than Vegas.
that.
Yeah.
They've done that in the G League a little bit because I think the team Mac McClung plays for is the Windy City Bulls. So
Okay.
they kind of took what the Chicago's named after, like the Windy City, and so since I mean that'd be awesome if they named it Sin City something. I don't know if Vegas would be like I don't know because it's tough to do nicknames like that. I guess Golden
Right.
State was perfect. It worked
Right.
perfectly. I mean, there's no better name than that. But like
Or
I
like New
remember when
instead of
yeah
the Boston Patriots.
right
Yeah.
that's kind of like the area. But I'm trying to think
Hmm.
of like there's like a city jersey with the Knicks that said the city never sleeps on it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cringe. Like I get it that the city never sleeps, but like the people of New
Right.
York don't actually call it that. It's just like outsiders. And I don't even know if people in Vegas call it the Sin City or if it's
Yeah.
just people that visited there. So
So
I don't know.
if the Knicks dropped a Big Apple uniform, you wouldn't buy it.
Uh, no, no, I wouldn't. In New
That'd
York
be
is
better
fine.
than City Never Sleeps, though. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. that was cringe when I saw it on that uniform.
Would you be
But
down with the Sin City Sinners?
no.
Might be a little too much sinning in the name. You're already pushing
Well,
it with
that
Sin
that
City.
that'd be like if you called the Pistons like the Motor City Pistons.
I mean,
I
that would
guess that's
sound
a little that's not bad either.
that
Yeah.
sounds better than Detroit. Actually, I think you're onto something there.
No, no, no. You can't do that.
Motor City
But
Pistons.
yeah, no, I guess well, like the Golden Knights for hockey, that doesn't
Mhm.
have to do anything with the city. Or like, well, the Raiders, they moved. I mean, when like there's no Grizzlies in Memphis, so when you just take a name from a relocation, you can kind of keep the name sometimes. But yeah,
Mhm.
I guess I don't know. It's tough. Well, I guess the Oakland A's are also moving to Vegas. I guess that I mean
Right.
Vegas is getting a lot of teams now. So yeah,
Right, they
I
really
don't know what you
are.
would call them.
And yeah, they really are. And as we're talking about all of this expansion and then trying to name these new teams, just to kind of close up here, what are two new cities that you would like the NBA to expand to next? Not necessarily that you want them to, but what do you think are the next two cities that should be on the docket? And then what are some two current teams that you'd like their names changed?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna see like even more expansion. I think after this, it's gonna be wild because even Adam Silver was like, "We're gonna expand to a different country like Europe or something, or I'm not. I'm gonna keep it off the table." That's kind of like what Roger Goodell is doing, trying to expand to Europe and all over the places. But it was interesting. Only like 24 of the 30 owners needed to agree to this. It wasn't like all 30 needed to agree, or else it was off the table. And it was kind of a no brainer because as soon as those teams come into effect, I think each owner
Mm-hmm.
gets like 7 to 10 billion out of it to just the fee of adding a couple more teams. So it was just basically money that drove it. But
Right.
I mean, I knew they weren't going to decline anything like this. But yeah, I mean, as I've been saying, I think like St. Louis would be great, or because they already had a team, and like
Mm-hmm.
I would also say Buffalo would be good because the Clippers were once the Buffalo Braves. Buffalo is Buffalo's a great city, honestly, because you look at how crazy Bills fans are, how
Right.
huge that fan base is. That'd be a good one. Um, yeah, I guess I would go Vancouver and then St. Louis. I think those are the big two, just because St. Louis deserves, I think, more teams because they lost
Right.
both of theirs in the two major sports. So yeah, those would be my pick.
Right, I would say something similarly, especially with Vancouver and then Buffalo. I mean, just call them the Buffalo Bison or something. I'm sure Bills fans would get confused and would start rooting for them as well. But are there any
Right.
current NBA teams that you think could use a better name? Or maybe ones that moved where it's just like, oh, I don't know if that name quite fits. Are there any that you think should update it?
I mean, obviously the Wizards.
Mm,
That's that's like number one, I think,
you want them to come
because
the Bullets again?
Bullets is way cooler. I get why they moved
Right,
away from that because that's very violent, you know. Um,
right,
and I actually don't know the full story of why they changed that. But that's when they were actually good. They went to some finals with that name. They haven't done anything as the Wizards, and they moved away from like the blue and gold color scheme and just it's red, white, and blue now. Like every other team, I guess not the Commanders, but every other team in Washington D.C. is red, white, and blue. Like not everyone needs to be red, white, and blue in Washington D.C., especially if you have a name like the Wizards, and your logo is literally with the Washington Monument in it. That has nothing to do with a wizard.
right,
Like it might as well. I mean, there's already the Capitals and the Nationals in baseball that use that name, but that'd be way more suited for the Wizards. Like if you're not going to use the Wizard, which they could do some cool stuff with that name, I think. But
right.
they don't do it at all. So I would say them, and probably I guess the the Pelicans probably. Their
Okay.
jerseys are always so boring, you know, or the Nets. Yeah, I would say the Nets because that's like the the most Arial font team ever. It's just so boring. And they like even with the Jason Kidd and like Richard Jefferson, they at least did some stuff like, and it was like some flavor, some
Mhm.
personality. But now there's just nothing. So yeah, and it's not like, is Brooklyn that big of a city for sports? I'm not sure. Like you might as well just relocate them to Buffalo. I think. I
That's
don't
not a
know.
bad.
Yeah, those would be my
You're
two.
already pretty close there. Yeah, I agree. And then as we're closing out here, just kind of this came to me. Now that we're actually talking about a team in Vegas legitimately happening, what do you think their color scheme should be? It feels like every team in Vegas, whether it's the Raiders, the Aces, or the Knights, they have black in it. Do you think they're going to go with another black kind of coated team? And then what do you think is going to be the softer color?
Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, you can't just copy the Aces colors because I was thinking black and gold immediately. But that's also what the
Right.
Golden Knights use, and the
Right.
Raiders use black and silver.
Right.
So I don't. I was thinking black or red. Honestly, I think red, maybe red and white and black. I think. I guess the Bulls have that. I don't know. It's tough, but that's what I would do. Yeah.
Right. Kind of tough just thinking about names. You just start thinking about like some sort of like deck of cards or just like what could they do here? I keep seeing gamblers brought up, and gamblers should work, but for some reason it just doesn't for me. But
Gamblers.
yeah, are there any
Yeah,
names
that's
you're
not a
thinking
bad
of?
name. Um, I'm not sure. I guess roulette wheels. That's a cool. No, 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 it's not. That's not.
The Sin City Roulettes. Mm.
Yeah. I don't know. I
I
guess
mean, you
there'd be
could.
some cool
I mean, you
slangs
could
that
go like
people can come up with.
you could go Sin City Chips, and then it's kind of like how it's chips, but it's actually poker chips, just like how the Nuggets are like, oh, it's Nuggets, but it's actually like mining Nuggets. They could go with that theme,
Yeah, I mean,
like the Sin City Chips.
I would do something that's not gambling since the Aces are so
They're,
huge.
I know that, but they're gonna do something gambling.
You think
That's
so?
that's just marketing, yeah, and they
I
know that.
guess. Yeah. The Las Vegas DraftKings. Is that what they would do?
Right? Maybe brought to you by DraftKings. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
gonna be every night. I mean it is kind of like the sports gambling capital, so you can understand why they want to get teams there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be tough to get people to go over there. I think it's gonna be a lot easier to get people acclimated with the Sonics, just their history. But even then,
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's just Sonics.
And
Yeah,
with the Sonics, they already have an arena that they've been
it's already there.
because that's why they lost the Sonics is because they couldn't pay for the renovations. And it's a
Right.
kind of a deep history with like the Starbucks CEO with that. But that was what kind of why they lost him is because it kind of like the stars had to really align for that. And it was really rare to see a team like the Sonics have to get relocated to Oklahoma City. But I mean, yeah, we just need both because Oklahoma City was a perfect choice for a team. I mean, you
Right,
wouldn't
and
think
the
so,
Thunder's a
even
really good
back
name
then.
too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. I think they'd need a better logo, but
Right.
yeah. I mean, well, the Thunder's about to get a new arena too in 2028, that at Coliseum or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
and that's when the Sonics are just about to arrive. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I can't wait to see the Sonics back. It's gonna be a great day when they get here. Yeah,
Right, and even Adam Silver in his press conference, he had said like, don't like he said, there's still a chance that this might not happen, but it appears that not only was it approved unanimously, but as long as investors are like committed to buying this team, and I've heard like several things from local leadership and governance there in Seattle and the state of Washington, they are very okay with the Sonics coming back. They're definitely not trying to block this, and so honestly, it's just gonna be really interesting because Silver, he said we could go to two markets. It's still a very possibility that we go to none if no one wants to be a buyer. But he had even said it could be just one. I have to think he's thinking, yeah, the Sonic already have an arena. They already have that going on. So, like, that's probably a definite. But if Vegas isn't able to get their stadium up, if they're not able, to build up a team that quickly and that type of culture that they would need to support it, maybe they would just go with the Sonics. But I mean, what would you do there? You think they would actually go with an odd number of teams? I feel like that just doesn't happen in modern sports.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think 32, and then they'd probably stop for another decade. I guess it depends how good they do immediately and how much money they rake in. Because if that happens, then they'll probably expand again. But I guess the NFL doesn't do that because they're just looking at Europe, I guess, for expansion. Because they easily could have expanded to Canada or something like that
Right.
because of how much money the NFL rakes in. So
All right. Well, there's going to be
yeah,
another vote later this year just to further confirm that these expansions are happening. And it looks like we'll have to wait until the 2028 to 29 season to see the Seattle Supersonics back and the Las Vegas to be decided take the court. And the NBA is really starting to expand. We'll have to see as the season continues to progress. We'll just have to see how these expansions continue to come about. The Supersonics and a team in Vegas are coming in 2028. This is the Ben Bus. I'm Benny King, and thanks for tuning in.